Well, hey, everyone. Hi.
Hello.
How are you? Hey, listen, welcome to Lunch Break with ATI, the weekly podcast for Actors Theater of Indiana, the resident professional theater company at the Center for the Performing Arts in good old Carmel, Indiana, US of A. And today, I am not hosting the podcast. My name is Cindy Collins. I'm one of the co-founders of ATI. This is the 100th podcast of Lunch Break with ATI.
Oh, Lord.
But
gird your loins.
today,
Brace yourself.
easy, fella.
Here,
Today, let me just get this out. Today, I'm a guest, along with the other two co-founders here, and the former executive director of ATI, Jim Reilly, will be the official host. So I will immediately
in name only.
hand it over to you,
Mr. B.
Mr. B.
It's fun to be here on the 100th
Yeah,
100.
I think that's what it says.
Lunch for ATI podcast.
Triple digits.
But more important, we're here to celebrate 20 years of ATI being in existence. These three individuals started it 20 years ago, and
And we haven't changed since.
it's been a great ride. Let me tell you a little bit about these three people here. Okay. Judy is from Indianapolis. She went to Millikan University in Decatur, Illinois.
That's right.
She got her fine
Degree.
arts, not
Bachelor
her fine arts disease degree. Don is from Roswell, Georgia,
Yep.
and he went to the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, and he also got his fine arts degree.
I did.
And Cindy here is from Livingston, New Jersey, and that should explain a lot.
Yes, the best.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
She went to Ohio University in Athens, Georgia.
Well, or Athens, Ohio.
Athens, Ohio.
Oh. Yes.
Don went to Georgia. I'll get this straight.
I know you will.
That's my notes.
So we have time.
You know, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit about those three. There are a lot of questions that people have asked about the three of them. So I'm going to try and cover some of that in our discussions today.
Okay.
One was,
Sorry.
you all went to New York after you graduated from
Well,
college.
I grew up there myself.
Yeah, but after you graduated from college, you all went back to New York. But you
Correct.
But you didn't know each other then.
No.
So how did you all meet in New York?
Well, tell the story about
Separate ways.
you tell, because you met both of us before we met each other.
That's correct.
Yeah. I met Judy in 92, 91. And I had just moved to New York City, and Judy and I were both cast in a show called Life Song.
It was stellar piece of
It was a review that was done in Columbus, Ohio.
Wait, that wasn't Players. Wait, who was that with?
No.
That was in its own thing
Yeah,
at the
okay.
Villa Milano
Right.
in Columbus, Ohio.
Right.
Joey Milano.
Joey Milano.
Joey
right.
Milano.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right, hey.
And so we put on a show called Live Song. And so that started my friendship with Judy. And then back into New York City after the show was done, we, just like actors, were auditioning everywhere and things like that. I got a job at
North Shore
Music Theater,
in
and that's
Beverly,
where I met
Massachusetts.
this one,
Doing
On the Town.
Good News.
Good News was
Good
the
News.
first one. Like I said,
Well,
it
they
was
did
Good
both
News.
at North Shore.
We did
News.
both. We did
all
On
there.
Town and
Well, we
we
did
Good
On the
News.
Town after that.
We did.
You're right.
And that was Greg Ganakis.
Yep. Greg Anakis. Excellent. God, what a great
Wonderful
director.
choreographer. Linda Goodrich, choreography.
Oh, my God. What a great
Wait,
choreographer.
she choreographed it.
Okay,
He
all right,
directed
we're talking
it.
about ATI. So get
Okay, sorry.
it. Anyway,
Anyways,
so that's how
how
I
we
met Cindy. And then the three of us.
Well, we were kind of working together with Greg Anakis a lot. You and me.
Yes.
I did 3 or 4
Well,
shows
and Don
with
and I
him.
worked a lot with Worth Gardner, but there's
Yeah.
a lot more to this story that is not being revealed, and many of you out there know the story. Don and I were married, and we got together, and we were married. So there's a lot to this, and then
We don't have time for
worked
all
together,
that.
right? We don't have all that, but we ended up working together a lot,
Details,
which
details.
was no, but meaning as a couple we worked together a lot, and that's
Yes.
something that actors do in the city. So we were fortunate enough to do that, and that ended up working with Worth Gardner, who we all three ended up working with. Cindy worked with earlier at Westchester Broadway Theater. We did My Fair Lady, and then therefore all three of us
That's
came
how we
together
all three
as
met.
a trio.
Yes, that's a very, in a nutshell,
Yes.
very small nutshell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was Westchester Broadway Theater doing My Fair Lady, with Worth Gardner was directing it.
Yeah.
Don and Judy knew
was-
Worth very well,
Right.
and very
Worth,
well.
Worth used to run the program at Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. He actually made the musical theater program
Yeah,
with them.
he did.
Faith Prince, so many greats came. Jason Graw, tons of people came from that during that time. And working with him, that was my first equity job as a union actor, and that got me work in Birmingham, Michigan, and eventually, working a way up in time, became like an assistant to
And that's
him.
how I
Yeah,
got my
he was-
equity card too, was
Yeah.
through a show with Worth. Correct.
Yeah. That's right. You assisted Worth a lot. And then we all did My Fair Lady at Westchester Broadway Theater, which actually was up in Westchester, New York. Not a bad theater at all.
No,
it was a
it was a
dinner
great theater, great theater.
But they have since closed, unfortunately. That gave a ton of work
Yeah.
to actors in the city. But anyway, yeah, that's how we all started working together. Actually,
And-
started working
And
together.
then your hometown kind of
My
is what got us
hometown.
working as a trio.
Yep, Roswell, Georgia. There's a professional theater company there called Georgia Ensemble Theater, and I cut my teeth directing. For first time. All of us, you kind of think of ourselves as just performers at one point, and then eventually somebody gives you an opportunity to direct. And the first thing I did was Forever Plaid, and that went well to where they said, why don't you do Taffetas, which is like a female version of Forever Plaid. And that's where Judy
Yeah,
and Cindy
right.
were in that show. I directed, choreographed it, and we off to the races. And that created
The trio,
somewhat of a
working
trio
together.
then.
And then we
it
realized
just built from there.
From there, as we were doing stuff together, Cindy was choreographing, he was directing, I was in,
Yep.
that we could do anything anywhere. So that's kind of where
Yeah.
we started.
Well, and can I I don't mean to interrupt, honestly, but we really should, before we go any further, talking about Georgia Ensemble Theater, give kudos to Bob and Anita Farley,
Yeah.
who are the founders and the artistic directors.
Yeah.
She was the managing director of Georgia Ensemble Theater, whom really
started us.
started us.
Yes.
Really,
Yeah, we wouldn't have
really,
ATI if it
mentors.
weren't for Georgia
Were our
Ensemble
mentors.
Theater.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
really.
Because our first production for ATI was My Way, a musical tribute to Frank Sinatra, of which we had just done as their season closer at Georgia Ensemble Theater.
Yeah.
When we finished that, I said, what are you going to do with the set? And they said, we're going to throw it away. I was like, do you mind if I rented a truck?
That's right.
And instead of going into the dumpster, you just put it on the Penske? And that's what we did, and we
that's-
drove it
that's
up, and
ATI
that's how we
history.
started.
That's June.
And they
was
did
that
that-
June? That was June of 2005. July of 2005, and that was our first show,
2005.
My Way at Zionsville Performing Arts Center. So now,
Whew.
our first show in 2005. That took a very long way
Yes.
to get
There it is.
2005, incorporated and first show.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
Did we incorporate while we were down in Georgia? Did we have to
No,
sign those
no, we
papers?
incorporated with Kathy, my sister.
Yep.
Kathy
was
here, but we didn't sign anything down
Yeah.
there while we were there. They didn't
It
send
was
us
through
No, that was
Bozeman.
selling our homes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you're
I was
thinking
buying our
Yes.
houses.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
It was through Bose McKinney and Evans,
Right.
is
Yes,
who did
Bose
the
McKinney and Evans.
helped us
Yeah,
with
and
the
that was
operation.
2005. Sorry.
All right,
When did
sorry.
you guys? No. When did you guys get the thought of moving back to the Midwest?
Well, the moving back would be me,
That would be Judy.
and we actually looked around. We thought about different things in that, and we met with the mayor in 2004, Mayor Jim Brainerd.
It was
And-
November
Yeah,
2004.
and we met with him, and I was pregnant with Lizzie. That's how you know her age. She's
Yeah.
19 going on 20. We're 19 going on 20, ATI. And I talked to him, and he said he told us his vision for where we are now, for the Center for the Performing Arts and the Palladium. And he's used something I said, and he even said it at his retirement party, that I said to him, we don't want to drag a stroller down the subway. And he used that. He said, I used that the whole way through, talking about bringing top quality theater here. So that's how we ended up here.
Yeah, and I to add to that, just back up a little bit, back to Worth Gardner we were talking about before. Also another mentor of mine. He helped me shift a focus, and that's what we can all do, is when we think we don't have any kind of control in our lives. Because for me it was after 9/11, and that was a reset thing. And what are we working towards? Yes, it was great living in New York City and working around the nation, but what is the legacy? And that was when Worth said, you know what, Don, you know enough people to turn around and make the calls instead of waiting for the phone calls to happen. And so then that's when Judy and Cynthia, I was like, look at what we're doing at Georgia Ensemble. Look at what we're doing at Pennsylvania Center Stage. Look at what we're doing at all these other theater companies. What if they can believe in us, why don't we believe in ourselves and start a theater company? And that was where the initial start of the thought happened, and the opportunities came by working together, and then the opportunities by friends and family.
I think also being pregnant with Lizzie was a huge
Sure.
As to, I mean.
Well, that goes back to the
many
legacy,
times,
right?
But many times too, you know, it's that in 1 year, you know, had a baby, got a house, got a car, started a company.
Yeah.
I mean, and we all did. Other than having the baby, we all did that. So in 1 year, so
You just had the baby.
yeah, just that little thing.
Whatever.
Easy. So yeah, so that was it. Crazy, and it
Yeah,
all
it was nuts.
started, and here we are.
But you don't think
getting
about
ready
it
to
that
go
way.
in
It's
20
funny
years.
because you think back, you're like, God,
No.
how do you do all that, right?
We didn't even think
like,
about
how
it.
did we?
No.
How did we?
We just did
We
it.
did it because we just did it.
And we can talk about what we
Just did
did,
it.
right? We did everything. It
Everything.
was just the three of us doing everything. So I ran the box office, and I did everything with the ticketing, and Don, you did finances, and you did all of that. And Cindy did everything else. We called her the legs of the company. She ran, she did everything. We all did marketing. We all did, I mean, everything. And I think that was a huge benefit to us because
Well,
once we walked
yeah.
into a bigger picture,
Yeah.
we understood what it looked like. You know,
Yeah,
what
I
it
think
looked like.
perspective, knowing what it takes to do the job, and that also gives you appreciation for everybody else and what
Yes.
their jobs are, right?
Absolutely.
You've kind of it's like what's that great television show? I love watching it. Undercover Mob Boss, Undercover Boss. But where you have the CEO go into the trenches,
right,
you know,
yeah.
and find out how his company or her company works and what the nuts and bolts of all that is. Well, by starting with that,
Well, it just
you
taught
know.
us so much. Like we had to it was into the front, like right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was just like trial by error too.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, so many mistakes and everything. But
And
come
laying
on.
awake at night going, why do people in Indiana wait to buy tickets?
Exactly. Exactly. Why are they waiting so long to get their tickets for this show?
Sometimes we still think about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of it was just
Okay, now, but when you guys
a
came
learning
back,
curve.
When you guys came back, the studio theater was not yet ready.
Correct.
You
Was it
And you
even-
performed in other venues around the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pike Performing Arts.
Yep.
Zionsville, like we said, our
Zionsville,
first one. was at
Indiana Historical
Zionsville.
Society, the Athenaeum, even Carmel Middle School, the storefront in Clay Terrace.
Oak Hill
Oak Hill
Mansion.
Mansion.
Oh, gosh,
Thank
Bob
you,
Zare,
Bob
Zare,
Zare and Jennifer Zare.
Absolutely.
Thank
The
you.
Children's Museum.
Yes.
We got
Children's
commissioned
Museum.
there.
2008.
Uh,
I
yeah.
mean,
And
pretty-
then-
name it. That's what we were
Logansport,
known as.
we popped out. We would
Right.
go out and do shows in Logansport for the
Yeah,
Arts
did two
Council out
there.
there. We
and that
did
was
stuff.
growing too. We learned how to do something in a 50 seat to a 2,000 seat theater. I mean, it's
We did education free workshops for Daymar Academy.
that's right.
Remember that?
Yeah,
my
sure
God.
do.
Daymar Academy
Yes.
for behavioral.
Oh, my Lord.
You know, that was a wonderful experience to be able to give.
So all of that until
Waiting for this
yeah,
to be built.
2011.
We were just talking about the groundbreaking.
Yes.
We
Oh,
were like,
right,
oh my
right,
God,
right.
we
It
were
was
at
a
the
pile of
groundbreaking.
dirt.
It was like mud,
We were singing My
dirt,
Way with Wind
and we
in a
sang
dirt
My
pile.
Way songs.
Right. And he threw that. We're like, oh, did it my way?
And that was out over there in the field of
Yes.
mud and gravel.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff Worrell was there.
Yes.
And probably the mayor was there. Jim
Yes.
Briner was probably there, I'm sure.
Jim was
but I
there.
remember, that was that groundbreaking. But
Right.
that was way before they even started building anything.
And
that
when we did our
groundbreaking
first show,
was so
Chicago,
early.
in 2011, the Black Box, the studio theater was just built, but there were no dressing rooms, there was no parking garage, so it was gravel. So where you think the parking garage, gravel. So we were upstairs in that
In a conference room.
in a conference room. Everybody, we made a
Just
makeshift dressing rooms.
We were all like this. Like
And
the
climbing
women.
down
the
like
men had more room. The
backstage
women were all like
ladder
this.
and,
You know,
gosh,
there was nowhere to warm up. Right, we were all up in this conference
19.
room. and-
There were 19 of us, including the band. It was.
But you
insane.
know,
God.
to add to all of that, that takes us up to like 2011, 2010, 2011.
2011 is when we started. That's when we got there.
But when we started in 2005, it was a matter of reaching out and finding people who we'd like to say, there's a saying, the saying cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
And it's not just the three of us. We
No.
had
Terry Woods.
amazing. Terry Woods is our first music director in
And
2005.
stayed with us forever.
I'm
And
working
he's
with
still
him now.
working,
He's my
yeah.
collaborator.
He's
And
what an incredible talent.
amazing. But Dwayne McDevitt and
John Lambert.
John Lambert and Bernie Killian eventually coming on, and all the Quentin James
and
so many
McGuire
people.
Scenic.
McGuire
That's
Scenic.
another.
Oh my gosh.
That's another company. Oh my God,
Yeah.
They kept all our
McGuire
stuff. They were a
Scenic.
storage.
They were downtown on where the hell on
That was
New
New
Jersey.
Jersey
New
Street.
Jersey.
On New Jersey,
16th in New Jersey.
right? And thank you. And so they were down there all the way downtown. Don McGuire,
Yeah.
right?
And Laura
And
Perlman.
Laura.
Furman.
And his wife Laura, she's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. They had this huge company, McGuire Scenic,
still
and they
do,
would
yeah.
build. They moved, right?
They did.
milled.
They're on
that,
the east side.
That because that building has been destroyed where we were with them. But anyway, they're this huge company that does all these
They let us
huge,
rehearse there.
humongous sets
Incredible.
for all kinds of events
Vegas,
and
car
everything,
shows,
right?
the
Every
Indy
yeah,
500.
car shows,
Yeah.
everything. How did that happen? Who hooked up with them?
I did. When we got here, the first thing I wanted to do was, there's a good saying, you surround yourself with people who are much more talented and better than you, right?
Yeah.
And it just rises. So through the good old people at the Arts Council of Indianapolis, going to their website, looking to see the different artists on their website that were there, and I saw who does the programs for IRT. Printing
well, no,
Partners.
but that's printing partners.
That was
Oh
more
my
on you.
God.
Yeah.
But
Printing
as
Partners
far
too.
as
We're
no, we're
I'm kidding.
Printing
we
partners.
Tough
have
crowd,
to do
tough
that.
crowd.
We have to do that.
But as far as McGuire Scenic, they were the ones who would do the builds for the IMA, and I thought that we need to be involved with
huge
them.
things they would
Scenic
make, right?
shop, yep.
I mean, huge scenic shop, right? So they're like this. Okay, well, you can store your stuff here
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
incredible.
You can store your
They
stuff
took us
here.
under their wing
for free.
Printing Partners too. There was another one that we just started with them. They took us under their wing. They gave us a humongous discount.
That was Michael O'Brien.
Michael
who
O'Brien.
Who has
Michael O'Brien.
he's
God
passed
rest
away,
his soul, but-
unfortunately.
Mindy Delp. I mean, they were
Mindy
incredible to
Delp.
us. We found people that just completely.
Yeah, they
helped us.
really helped
Yeah,
us.
you guys handled the printing partners thing
Yeah.
much more.
Yeah,
I was
they were
with
great.
McGuire
I
Scenic.
was
Yeah.
just teasing.
Yeah.
But they were great. Both those companies are fantastic.
Yeah.
And really, really, I mean,
Top notch.
talk about really like we were all their pet project. It
Yes,
almost seemed like
exactly.
Like we were like we're gonna help them. We're gonna help
Yes,
them out.
bless their
like
hearts.
bless them. We're gonna help these kids out. No, but they really did. They must have really believed in us because they really, really helped us out.
Let's get to the shows in Carmel in the Studio Theater.
Yeah.
I know the first one that PJ and I saw was Chicago.
Right.
Yeah.
I've
And
got a list.
I know
And
it.
Chicago was our
God.
That was your
first
first.
one,
Yeah.
and that's how I got.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
Jim
Got bit by the bug, Mr. B.
But we also too want to say that Chicago. But then what PJ when 2012 is when you became part of our lives, correct? 2012, and yeah,
That's the time you go cheers to that.
Still right, he's
Cheers.
still
Oh,
there.
we need to drink.
I'll drink to that.
You have
Yeah,
the,
okay.
yeah, you have the real stuff
There
to
it
drink it
is.
up. But you came into our lives. Now, what was the show that you and PJ saw?
That was Forbidden Broadway,
That's
I
what
thought.
I thought. I thought it was Forbidden Broadway, but which is
She wrote her letter after we saw Chicago.
Oh, after Chicago?
I
thought it was a
2000
Forbidden
because
Broadway
Chicago was
after that.
2011.
Now, we were so impressed with the whole organization because the Chicago show was such a fantastic show.
Okay.
We'd never seen anything like that in Carmel. So that's when PJ came home and wrote a letter to the Current
And signed your name.
and signed my name. Yeah.
And didn't tell you.
And
Didn't tell me.
you.
And so put her name and your name. She
Yeah.
just threw you in.
And
there.
was it Jessica White?
Jessica
White.
White,
Yeah.
the angel.
Yeah.
Jessica
White
White.
was
Jessica, the
Jim,
angel.
We probably we need an executive
No,
director.
no, she goes like this. Hey, you want to be on the board?
Oh, that was it.
You want to be on the board? He's like, yeah, sure, I'll be on the board. What? Oh, sure. And then all of a sudden, like, hello.
It was at the
Executive
Starbucks, which is
Yeah.
no longer there now. It's over by where Republican Airlines
And
Yeah.
is going in, right?
And then-
But that's where we met the first
how
time.
many
was
years? So
coffee
that was
over.
so that started in 2012 is when you became our ED, and then
But I came on first as a consultant. I came on a 3-month contract.
see we don't remember that. We're
Now
not
that's
talking about
the
ED
and
at
that,
point.
ladies and gentlemen, is the punchline to it all. A 3-month
I came
contract.
on a 3-month
That
Three
ended
contract,
months.
up what?
and I stayed 12 years.
Consultant.
12 years. Yep.
Right.
And now he's back. He's on board now. So
And now you're on the board.
Yeah.
Now
You're on the board?
yes.
Yeah.
I did not know
Right,
that. I
right.
did not
No.
know that.
Right.
Wild
So
and
now,
wacky stuff.
good luck. Godspeed with that. Next question.
Tell us your favorite shows. You guys have done so many great shows since you've been here. You must have a favorite or
No.
5 or 6.
You want to look at a list?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's so many. I mean,
Yeah,
this
I
is done.
really-
I
I can
know
just
I'm
look at
missing
the
some.
wall.
Yeah, you
Right,
can.
see
That's
if
There's
true.
anything back
You
here.
can look at the
I
wall.
don't like any of
Really?
these. I'm kidding.
Well, of course, Chicago.
Actually,
because
Chicago, of course.
That was our start. We keep trying to bring that back, and we just
That's
can't
very,
get the
yeah, you
rights.
can't get the rights
We
anymore.
lucked out with those. It was like from above.
Xanadu was a blast.
Xanadu. What about you? You throw
I don't
some
know. What
in,
about you,
Don?
Don? I don't know.
Sweeney Todd's always
Oh,
a
definitely.
landmark
Sure,
one.
Sweeney Todd, yeah.
Lombardi, loved
Yes.
That was
loved
very
doing
good.
Lombardi.
Yes,
Very good.
love Lombardi.
So a play,
See.
musical,
I mean, we
more of
can
an
keep-
opera, really.
Yeah, I mean,
Sweeney
we
Todd.
can just keep. I mean,
The Forbidden Broadways are always fun. They bring me
Mm-hmm.
close to being in traction.
Yes.
But they're always
Yes.
fun.
That's like a
wonderful.
workout program.
Godspell
Yeah, it is.
was great. You know, Patsy Cline was. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's just
Ruthless. I had fun in that.
Yes.
That was
So,
fun.
I mean, we can name so many
I don't
because we
know.
just care so much about it, and we really
The
started.
Frog and Toads were always special.
Oh, love.
Yeah,
You
we
gotta
did that
admit.
for
You
a
know
number.
Frog
The Frog and
Toads.
Toads
Yes,
were
very
always
special.
always
Oh my gosh.
special.
And we, you know, we started the company because we love performing. Let's be honest, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
we thought, well, let's put it together. We can perform and we can give our friends work professionally, and that makes every show pretty special
Yeah.
because we have brought in our friends from all across the country, and we work with incredible local actors, and we get to be in the shows, and we get to bring our friends in. It's pretty incredible.
What was it
Yeah.
like performing in Sweeney Todd on the Palladium stage?
Oh, that's a really once in a lifetime experience, because to have the Carmel Symphony Orchestra behind you with that the lush arrangements that Jonathan Tunick wrote with Stephen Sondheim's music, and then also having the Indie Arts Chorale, having I think
that
we
was
had
great.
60 singers in behind,
And the
so that
CSO,
wall of
right.
sound that with the Carmel Symphony Orchestra and our core of 11 performers.
It was
You can't put a price tag
And
on
it's
that. That was
listen,
amazing.
and it's the spaces. They are right. I mean, the acoustics in that Palladium space are really wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lovely stage to sing on. Really is.
And that was a partnership not just with the Carmel Symphony Orchestra, but also with the Center for the Performing Arts
Right.
too.
Absolutely.
And that was wonderful. It's a great example of how the resident companies can work together with bringing all of their different strengths
Collaboration.
together to collaborate for a joint cause.
Yeah.
And that was what
And
the
you
goal
feel like a
was. of that.
superstar on that stage. I mean, you can't help it. You just feel like
Yeah, whatever you're doing on that stage, it's really nice
But
to
it
perform
turns
on it.
intimate too. It's bizarre. You know what I
But it's-
mean?
Yeah.
Like
But it
you don't
seems like
think
the-
about.
But it seems like the studio
Yeah.
here would give you that feeling of intimacy.
Yes, I mean the studio performing Sweeney at the studio was magic. I mean, there's no doubt.
Yeah, that
about
was
it.
the
You
first
just can't.
production.
Richard Roberts, who directed that
Oh,
production, both of those productions, brilliant what he brings to every single production that he's directed for ATI. But the moment of being able to have the intimacy of the studio theater, and there's a moment when Sweeney Todd leaves. This is getting towards the climax of the entire piece, and he had the idea. And you guys have all been in the studio where it's a suspended grid. And he had the other ensemble, everybody else, the core performers, laying on top of the suspended grid, so the lights shot up and the audience, and the wall of sound being sung directly down on top of the audience. It sounded, when that moment happened, I slammed the door, and they launch into Swing Your Razor Wide, and the lights go up, and their wall of sound coming down. People were screaming like it was a
and they're
haunted
trying to
house.
figure
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
they're like, what? And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
they're above us.
Yeah.
It was
God bless them for lying.
creepy.
Blood
And
Curdling
bless them for
screams.
And they
It
got up there
was
without
great.
anybody hearing them. It was incredible.
It was like 7 or 8 ensemble members up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that
they're
was one thing he said
singing.
he missed it in the
I was-
museum. We just
I
couldn't
was dead
recreate
already.
that.
But
You were dead.
I was dead already.
Oh, when we said Don got
But-
his fantasy, he got to kill
He
Sydney.
killed both of us.
He got to kill me.
Killed Judy
he
first
got
and
to
then
throw
me.
in an oven, and then got to kill Sydney. Jim Reilly kept saying it's the best day of his life
the best-
every day.
it's the best show ever.
Don's in seventh heaven here.
Art imitating life, or art whatever that saying
You
is.
would
I don't
leave
know.
me in that oven, I'd be like,
Okay, of all the shows that you've done here, do you have a favorite role? You know, if you had to go back and say that was my favorite role that I've done here at the Studio Theater.
Just at ATI, right? We're just talking.
Let's
right?
talk about ATI.
Yeah.
I'm sure Chicago still has to be.
Chicago, Roxy
I
Hart,
mean-
Chicago.
Definitely Sweeney. I mean,
Sweeney, of
still,
course, the
Mrs.
beggar
Lovett,
woman in
for
Sweeney.
sure. Mrs. Lovett for me. I'm sure Sweeney in your world. Lombardi was great. Marie Lombardi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Lombardi for you, Don, too, because that's a great role.
Well, you learn so much
know,
about when you delve
learn
into
about
different
him,
characters and stuff, and
Yeah.
and try to get into the
Oh, God.
mindset of
Playing
who that
Mama Rose
person
and
is.
Gypsy, that was truly
Alabama
it's great.
Story.
Yeah.
Alabama
play.
Story playing Emily
Kenneth.
Reed was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Kenneth.
Thank you, Ken, for writing such a
Amazing.
beautiful
Great
play. And
Hope to
lovely
do more
character.
of your plays.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, one of the great, I think, for me, it's the ability to give back. So it can be such a selfish thing about the applause. And yes, actors love the applause, or else but it kind of helps fuel it. But it's about really being able to touch other people's lives through us being used as conduits to tell stories, to touch other people's
And also
lives. That's really the most
Cabaret. We didn't mention that either. Cabaret was an incredible
Cabaret.
piece
Yeah, sure.
to do.
But
But another thing, to speak on what Don is saying also, it's wonderful to be able to just lose yourself in a role, and to have the opportunity to do that is such a wonderful thing. And I'm glad that we get to give it to other people, and you feel it. And when the audience members, I remember after Gypsy, I had someone come up to me and say, you know, that's a real person. I'm like, I know. But she's like, I saw the person later that I went and I looked her up and I looked everything about her and I was so interested. To have somebody go home and research, and like with Lombardi, that happened there too, to inspire people to walk away from the theater and continue to
talk.
to
Have
talk.
a conversation
have a
with
conversation,
each other.
not be
Don't go home and sit in front of the TV.
I mean,
you know?
so truly, and to discuss something, to make something happen. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
for sure.
I that's what I always think. Go and
Right.
discuss and
And
have a
that's-
discussion and talk to each other after a show. Look at your playbill.
Right.
Read people's bios.
Right.
Look up the show. Look up if it was a real person in the show, or if not, look and research the show. Discuss and talk to each other. Have conversations. That's what theater and all the
Yeah.
the performing arts should do.
The
Yeah.
things I'd like to touch on really quick, also, we have all these great shows that ATI's put on over the years, but also it's the other programs that have been instituted as well, whether it's the ATI Theater Immersion or it was the ATI Theater Lab, to be able to give new playwrights the ability to have a platform to work on their
Yeah,
craft.
our lab series is
The
strong.
lab
as ever.
series was huge. The ATI edutainment experience, to be able to bring students in from Marion County and whatnot who have never been into the Palladium. We did that with Almost Elton John. Remember
that's
when Rock was young, with Craig A. Meyer. That was fun. That was great. That was a great experience and a great party, but a wonderful experience to be able to allow
And we've been able
those
to
who would never be able to come in.
produce folks at the Palladium. That was, they brought that up.
Sutton Fest,
Foster,
Sutton Foster,
Cheetah
Cheetah.
Rivera, Elton John.
Yeah.
So that's been incredible as well. So.
Yeah, those have been really great experiences. And the experiences too, I think you stay in the moment. If you're going to be a good actor, you got to stay in the moment. When the pandemic happened, what did we do? We had to stay in the moment. We all shifted and pivoted. We love the word pivot. We pivoted
That
to
word was used a
Facebook
lot.
Live.
And we have to do
did.
a shout out to Meg.
Meg,
Osborne,
yeah.
Meg and Associates. Meg Osborne is
Great stuff.
I mean, she during the pandemic, we were like, do you really think we should? We were for it, but she's like, you have to do it. You need to keep going, and she did that. This podcast is a huge part. The political part, when we brought in all the candidates prior to the election. Meg's like, bring on the candidates.
That was interesting because
kudos
I got
to
to
Meg
meet all
for-
of them. It was
for-
very interesting.
For keeping us, and we had the drive-ins.
The drive-ins.
And
She
Yeah.
kept us relevant.
she did.
Yeah, right.
She kept us
I
alive.
mean, we
She
worked
kept
the
us
whole
awake.
time
And-
during the
and
pandemic.
that
We
paid
were
off.
constantly working.
Yeah.
People paid attention that we didn't just disappear and give up at the pandemic. We kept going. So this is to you, Meg. I know you're watching. So
Wherever you are, Meg.
she's
The light's on right there. Hi, Meg.
I don't get fooled by that.
But I really think that you guys should be applauded. You've kept this theater going in some pretty tough times.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
a lot
we
of
have. I
theaters
think
have
we did in the
closed. A lot of
past.
theaters around the country have closed right now. And here you guys are celebrating your 20th anniversary. That's incredible.
Right.
yeah,
You
getting
should
ready
be-
to.
You should be proud of that.
very.
She'd be proud.
And it takes a village, so it's not just the
Yeah.
three of us. It's to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
it's to Meg, it's
Yeah.
to the whole team. It's
It's
everybody.
everybody,
Yeah.
people
Kristen,
past and
everybody.
past and present people that were
Kathy.
on the board. I mean, people that helped
The
us in
board.
the past, people that are continuing.
The guild,
that will help.
Crystal DeHaan.
Crystal
Crystal
DeHaan.
Really, yes.
the sponsors,
huge.
the city.
United Fidelity. I mean, Clues. I mean, there's so many. We have had so many people, and we started out small, but people believed in us, and we were so fortunate.
Like the little engine that could. That's
Yeah,
it.
I
It was
think
like the
that's
little
what-
engine that
and
could.
Yeah, I
Right.
did. That's what I feel
Yeah.
like. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But-
For a young person coming out of school today, would you recommend the New York experience?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
have. That's where you have to.
I
Go.
think
100%.
the
Yes.
best experience
Yeah.
you
I'm
can
back to
get.
now, so
That's our
But
hub.
no, yeah,
That's our
I think
Yes.
That's our hub.
well, the biggest experience, the best way to learn is through experience, and the only way
The
you
only way
experience
to
is
learn.
to do.
Yeah.
So you can be as book smart as you can, but until you take, let go of that life preserver and see where the current's going to take you, you got to take a leap, and there's a certain amount of risk that's involved with that. But with that risk and with that hard work ethic and stick-to-itiveness, don't give up no matter how much you're down. Have a firm belief in yourself, a blue-collar work ethic, and you can do it. You can do it.
I mean, it's
But it's not easy.
It's not easy. It's a very difficult business.
Yeah.
It's actually the most difficult as far as work goes business.
I
To
think
get
that
work,
people would-
to
yes.
get work, to get
Well,
work. It is because you are being
You mean
judged.
in the artistic.
In the artistic,
well,
you're
I
being
mean, I don't know.
judged
Look at
all
dancers. Look at painters. I mean, it's
That's what I'm talking about. The arts
in general.
The arts in
Very-
general.
yeah.
You're being judged constantly, and it's all perspective of that person. You can only control yourself. You can't control what those people think. You can't make those people hire you. You can control this. You get your body and your mind, and that's what you have.
Yeah.
And that's how you got to think about it.
I think
Just
go
go in
going
and
to
audition
Chicago,
and,
going to
you
New
know.
York, you'll people that give you chances on things that you might be like, in a million years, you never thought you could do. And then all of a sudden you're doing it. And that's part of being in the trenches and learning and believing in yourself and growing as a performer. And I know for the three of us that every time I'm in a show, it doesn't matter how old I am or anything, I grow every time. And that's part of the experience too. When I walk out and I'm like, wow, you could be, I think, 80 and still do a show.
Yeah, in
and-
this business, you
and
never stop
grow,
learning.
you
You
know?
never stop learning.
Learn
And you
from-
shouldn't.
yeah.
You shouldn't. You should always
So
want to learn.
That's the beauty of this business.
Yeah.
And you can keep going pretty much as long as your mind is sound till you drop. Really.
Right.
So that's the beauty of this business. too.
Prop me up.
I will prop you up.
Thanks.
Yes. And rinse out your
Okay,
depends.
Nope.
Any closing comments? I think you guys had a
Yes.
great discussion here today. Thank you.
No,
I just think
Here's
so-
to 20 more. Thank you for the past
Talk about
20, and here's
propping
to
up.
20 more.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone who helped the company ever.
And to see that we're here, please check out, we are selling subscriptions right now to our 24-25
Amazing season,
It's
by
an
the way.
incredible season.
Congratulations on
Kudos.
the launch of that.
Congratulations
Thank
Yeah,
you.
to you.
cheers,
Thank you.
cheers.
Cheers to
Great,
you.
great
Good
season.
job.
Ring
lineup.
of Fire, She Loves Me, Who Done It, and 9 to 5. And we have subscriptions are on sale now. That is our 20th season. And I thank everyone sitting here because obviously we wouldn't be here today without that. And my two co-founders that are off doing their own things but are still so supportive of the company and will always be a part of ATI. So I'm very proud, and I'm so glad we're here, and it seems like we just started yesterday, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
talk about going quickly.
It's
It is
weird.
gone fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Lizzie's a pure representation of that because anybody knows who's had a kid, all of a sudden your child is itty bitty bitty, and then all of a sudden they're driving, and all of a sudden they're in college, and it's just that's what this is like. It goes quick, doesn't it?
Tempest
True.
Puget.
And with that,
Okay, is that a wrap?
thank you,
That's a
Mr. B.
wrap.
I think it is.
Mr.
Way to go,
B.
Mr. B.
I know
Are you going to play us out?
No.
Oh,
No, I think you should play us out. Come on.
that's too
Play us
bad.
something.
Alexander
Come on, play
Redfern.
something.
I'm off today.
Oh.
Man.
That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us, and join us next week for the 101st.
Will you be here?
101st.
Are you going to be sitting right there?
Possibly.
He's not going to move until
Nice.
then.
The 101. Yes.
So, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.